Hey guys, today I'm going to share a sneak peek that answers the question a lot of people have been asking about and they seem to be stuck on. The question is, what do you think makes the difference between people who are achieving success and those who are still stuck or they're plateaued? Is it who knows the how-to more, or is it something else? The answer could just surprise you, because the how to do anything, like how to lose weight, how to build an online business, how to make more money, how to get more time off, how to be more productive, how to get healthier, all those things are available and you can pay for them. Yet, more than ever, there are people who, even with all the resources available to them, are not achieving the goals that they set out and are not finishing the projects that they start, even when they have the best of intentions to change their situation and their circumstances. Why? Well, there's a secret 5-part ingredient to success that I'm going to share in this episode of the Fitnesspreneur's Life, where I take you inside one of the high-performance lessons that often accompany my business training courses. Now, if you're listening to this on the podcast, you might hear me referencing things that I'm writing on the board. It's okay. Just take notes in your journal. You can always jump over to our blog at vitolafata.com/blog and get the video episode there. And you also can be sure to subscribe to our YouTube for more updates and episodes like this. So without further ado, let's jump into our episode on the secret ingredient to success. Hey guys, what's going on? Vito here. We're dropping in with a little bit of a high performance lesson to help you get set for the work that's ahead. Because here's the thing. A lot of people have the dream, the wish, the hope, and the goal to go out there and build their personal brand, to build a life of passive income and time freedom, and get their business out there in ways that they've only imagined they can. And the thing is this, all the how-to in this course, you have all the how-to. You have every step, every process, everything you ever need to do. And we've put that out for people before. And yet, still some people show up and do it, and some people don't. What is that secret ingredient to success that you need? Whether it's to get through this course, to go build your brand, to achieve any goal that you have out there in your life. Because intentionality is awesome. You got to have the intention to go out there and achieve your thing. And you get that goal and you put it down and there it is locked in front of you. Yet, sometimes people still shovel it to the side. They still forget about it. They still let life get in the way. They let others rob them of that dream, or they rob themselves of that dream because they're often lacking this one thing. And then we're going to break it down into 5 things. That thing that they're often lacking is necessity. That's awesome handwriting, but that says necessity. Usually I have my wife write these things, but she's occupied today. Necessity. That's that thing inside you, that intangible that says, I have to do this. It's something that must get done. It's not, I hope it gets done, I wish it gets done. It will get done, because there's 5 things behind it. So as you're going through this, I want you to journal on this a little bit today as you're doing this work, because the first thing about necessity is what we call identity. If you take what you're doing right now with your brand and what you're trying to put out with your vision, and you look at this becoming a visionary, being a marketer, being a salesman, being an entrepreneur, being a leader, where it's your identity, it's who you are, you're going to have a better chance of hitting that success marker than if you don't see this as a role, as a who you're going to be in the future. You'll can it. You just won't do it. I often run into this with people that are like, I never saw myself out there as a marketer, so it's why I never got into my business. I deal with this a lot with trainers and studio owners, because they don't see themselves in the role of truly being the business owner or the entrepreneur. They still see themselves in the role of the technician, the service-oriented person. And I had to go through that when I was building and evolving my career, because when I was a trainer, that's what I saw myself as. But then the day that I opened up a studio, I had to start saying, well, you know what? That identity, I still have it, or it served me well, but now I need to move on to the next identity. And that identity is business owner. And then when I started to recognize that I wanted more than just brick and mortar ownership, and I wanted to be an entrepreneur, I wanted to do things in a lot bigger ways, and I wanted to start thinking strategically and all that stuff, and started doing bigger deals and I started wanting to become an entrepreneur, I had to take on that identity. And I had to see that as a part of my future in order for me to continue to live into that and say, you know what? If I'm gonna be successful, I gotta strive every day. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's not convenient, even when I'm lazy and I don't feel like it, I gotta catapult myself into doing that because it's who I have to be. So I ask you, is this work you're doing to be a visionary who you want to be in this world? Then you're gonna hit success. If you don't see that, you might start to understand why you're dogging it a bit in the business, why you're dogging it doing the work, why it just doesn't seem to be showing up on your calendar, because maybe the other roles or other identities you have are more important. You're like, well, my identity as mom, as social caregiver, as wife, and all those things are all important roles. I'm not saying that, but if the identity of you being the visionary and the entrepreneur isn't as important as those roles, if it's not in those top 6 roles, there's gonna be a good chance this isn't gonna get done. So rate yourself on that, 1 to 10, where are you? 1 being you suck and don't even see this remotely, you don't suck, but you don't see this as an important role in your life, or 10, you're like, this is the future of where I'm gonna be, this is what I want to role model, this is what I'm gonna show the world, there's a good chance this is gonna rock in your life. Second thing, if you want to really add more juice to necessity and add more ingredient to success, is you got to get obsessed. You got to get obsessed with potentially your topic, your expertise, and above all, this work of being a visionary and an entrepreneur. So let's put down visionary. You got to be obsessed with that topic. Now, this is one where people got to look at you like a little bit like you never stop talking about this stuff. And that's going to be a good place, because you're not trying to be the norm. You're not trying to be the average person out there that rather talk about entertainment or what's going on in life and what's happening with the social circles. All good stuff, all fun stuff, don't get me wrong. But here you are trying to achieve a dream in your life. You got to get obsessed with what's in this course. You got to get obsessed with this work. It's why in my library I have hundreds and hundreds of books on business and marketing and entrepreneurship and leadership and high performance, because I'm like, if I'm gonna live this life to be able to sit here and help you guys go out and achieve your best, I have to live into this identity. I gotta be good enough that when you're coming with questions or trying to strategize on things or think these things, do I know the topics well enough about online, marketing, entrepreneurial, joint ventures, affiliates, all the things that happen in a business like this. So I've been studying it for 8 years now because I'm obsessed with that topic. I've always done that in my career. When I was a trainer, I was obsessed with everything to do with that, and that's why I crushed it as a trainer. When I was a studio owner, I didn't know I was supposed to be super into business and marketing right out of the gate, but once I figured out that those are the topics I need to get good at, business, marketing, sales, in order to own a brick and mortar business, I went all in, and that's what helped turn my career around. And even today, I'm still obsessed with business, marketing, sales, entrepreneurship, high performance. You got to get obsessed with those topics, because without that, it's going to be hard to really get this thing to the next level. You might do okay, but are you here to do okay, or are you here to crush it? I want you to crush it. So let's get obsessed with what you're learning right now. Geek out on it, nerd out on it. When you get that, like, I can't help but talk about it with people, you're in the right place. You're in the right place. Third thing is, do you feel that this is like a duty and an obligation to the world, to your family, to your spouse? High performers find someone where they feel this is my obligation to do it for them. Like, I view this as I have to do this because of my kid, my wife, my tribe, my people counting on me. This is the legacy I want to leave behind. Like the way the military will die to protect our country. I view what I'm trying to do in the entrepreneurial world as my duty and my obligation. I gave myself like commandments. I'm like, thou shalt help reverse the trend of obesity. And that's why I built my Beachbody team and my fitness and industry and what I do out there and helping that industry. But I'm also like, thou shalt help others not live broke. Living broke sucks. I've been there. I've done that. I don't want to see people be in that place. So I'm like, if I can, before my time is said and done, it is my duty to teach other people how to not live broke. I feel I'm making a difference in the world. And if I can help put more people out of the 9 to 5 and into their own business and at home so they can be there for their kids, they can be teaching values, they can be connecting with their family, they can be great with their spouse, they can travel, enjoy the world, I feel we're gonna make the world a better place because the world is frazzled right now. And I'm like, if I can put more people in the house, that's how I'll put an impact in gun violence. That's how I'll put an impact in the economy. That's how I'll put an impact in healthcare, because the family is back together. We don't have people running around, missing each other, living lives, passing like ships in the night. Instead, families are back together because it's the age of the online world. We can create the at-home entrepreneur now, and this tool is there. What's your duty, your obligation that makes what you're doing in this course and what you will do beyond this course a necessity? Because that's how you're going to get success. Make sense? Next one, urgency. What do you got to do to create urgency to make this thing happen now, not later, not years from now, now? Is it your kids? Is it your family? Is it debt? When I was 105 grand in debt, I was just like, this sucks living this way and I can't keep this up. So it became urgent to shut all the things out, say no to friends, not go out on weekends, turn the TV off, put past the excuses, stay up late, get up early. All that stuff that sucked for 4.5 years. But that urgency of not wanting to be $105,000 in debt and live that way made it necessity now. That's the difference. What do you got to do to make it necessity now? I don't know if it's your kids, your family, your spouse, your situation, just your duty and your obligation. Whatever it is, you got to get it dialed in. And you got to get it front and center. You got to have triggers that remind you of this every day. You can't be thinking of these things once in a while. You got to be thinking about these things all the time. Because that discipline of thinking about this all the time is what makes it show up in your day. And for every day that this shows up, hour after hour after hour, day after day after day, week after week after week, is when all of a sudden your business is out. And all of a sudden your bank account starts showing passive income coming in. All of a sudden it's a couple years down, you're like, goodbye 9 to 5. All of a sudden it's a couple years, you're like, I'm living the dream lifestyle. But it needs to start showing up now. Everyone keeps pushing it off as the wish and the hope because we fall back to the regular. We fall back to our 9 to 5. We fall back to our routine. We fall back to what we've always done that got us to where we are. But in order to get to where you've never been, you must do things you have never done before. And that means create an urgency. And the last little juice is, what feeling do you want or don't want to have anymore in your life? I'll give you an example. So I was sharing with you that when I was 105 grand in debt, that feeling of being broke and not being able to enjoy life was a feeling I didn't like. I didn't like having that in my life. And I decided then and there that that's a feeling I don't want to have. I want to have the feeling that I can go out to any restaurant, open up the menu, order what I want in any bottle I want without having to look at the price. That was the feeling I gave myself for years as one of the motivations and the impetus to keep on going and to make this necessity happen, because I wanted to have that feeling. And I got very clear on that feeling and what that would be like in my life. I journaled on it. I thought about what that'd be like, taking a girl out on a date, this, that, da, da, being able to travel the world and not have to worry about it. So I got clear on those feelings I wanted. I got clear that I don't want the feeling of being broke. I remember when I worked in the fashion industry for Calvin Klein, and then early on when I worked in the fitness industry for Crunch, I was fired from those two places because I wouldn't compromise on some principles I had. I don't believe in dogma, and I didn't believe that you can tell us we can't do side businesses and things like that. So I just didn't agree with the way the corporations were running stuff. So at a point, it came down to, I was like, well, we just don't agree. I feel I should be able to do this. You say I can't, but I'm proving by the numbers and the data that I'm freaking right in what we're trying to do. Let's evolve, let's shift. But dogma in some corporations is. So I was fired, and my income was taken from me like that. I remember those days because I was like, I don't ever want to feel like I don't have control over my financial security because somebody can take my job. So that clarity of like, I don't want to feel that. And I said, instead, what I do want to feel is control. I want control over my income. I want control over my future, not somebody else. The fallacy of security of the corporate world and the 9-to-5 and somebody else cutting your check, that's a fallacy. There is no security there. But what I do know is there's security in our ability to produce. So when I understood that I want the feeling of being able to be productive and go out and create my own things, necessity showed up in my life to make sure my business and my brand, and even through the ups and the downs and the struggles and all the things that we go on today, I'm always still driven by the feeling of I control my life. Nobody else does. So that's why it shows up every day. So some homework for you guys to just think about here is, where are you on these things? Do you see yourself as the visionary, the entrepreneur, the marketer, the high performer, the leader? Is that part of the identity you want in your future? You're going to be successful. Are you getting obsessed with this topic of, I got to start nerding out and geeking out on this marketing thing, this sales thing, this business thing, this online thing? Get obsessed with these topics. Nerd out, geek out. Does this feel like it's a duty, an obligation, whatever your message, your mission, your vision, the tribe that you're trying to serve? Is it like do or die inside you? You're going to crush this. Is it urgent where you're like, I got to make this thing happen now, and what's the reason, or who are you going to stand for? What are you going to stand for? That will make the difference whether this gets done, my friends. And then what's the feelings that you don't want or do want that will help motivate and inspire you to take this course and to crush it, because there's more to come on the backside. See ya. Hey, if you liked this episode and want to take building your online business to the next level, you can visit www.vitolafata.com and jump into one of our courses to help you get started. When you do, you put yourself in an environment of support, growth, and high performance so that you can fulfill on that dream of success and more freedom that lies within you. We'll see you on over there.